Hello students, I think all of you have gone through our first video in which we have discussed what is air and the various uses of air. Today I will discuss our next topic, that is what does air contain? What does air contain? At first, we have to understand that air is a mixture of gases. What is air? Air is a mixture of gases. Nitrogen and oxygen. Please underline these two words. Nitrogen and oxygen are the main gases found in it. That means these two gases are there, which is available in maximum amount. Next, around 78% of air is nitrogen. So how much percentage of nitrogen is there in our atmosphere or in air? So you have to mention 78% of 78% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen is there in our atmosphere, that is air. Next, oxygen is essential for life. What is essential for life? Oxygen. All living things breathe in oxygen. All living things are dependent in oxygen, without which they would not be able to survive. So oxygen is required for burning. Without oxygen we cannot start a fire. Without oxygen we cannot start a fire. So it is important for us to have oxygen in our atmosphere if we want to start a fire. So what are the things we have discussed in this passage? The first thing was that air is a mixture of gases. Can you name some of the gases which are present in air? That is nitrogen and oxygen. How much percentage of nitrogen is there? Here I have to say that 78%. And 21% of oxygen is there. 78 plus 21, that is 99, and remaining 1% is other gases. Next we have nitrogen does not support burning. So can you name a gas which doesn't support burning? That is nitrogen. In fact, it controls fire. So what is the use of nitrogen? It helps to control fire. In the absence of nitrogen, even a small fire can become very big. So these two are the very important uses of nitrogen. The first one was that nitrogen helps to control fire, and it doesn't allow fire to become very big. Next we have, in addition to nitrogen and oxygen, air consists of small amount of some other gases, including underline these words: argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium and methane. Try to go through the proper spelling and learn these words. So these are the gases which comes in the group of other gases. Except nitrogen and oxygen, there are some other gases which are argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, and methane. Beside these gases, air contains water vapor. What does air also contain? It contains water vapor. And water vapor in the air is the source of rain and snow. I hope up to this much it is clear to you. The components of air. We have discussed the various components of air. Let me again remind you that nitrogen is there. How much percent? 78% of nitrogen is there, 21% of oxygen, and remaining 1% is of other gases. Can you name some of the gases which are present in our atmosphere? So you can include this argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, and methane in your list. At the same time, air contains water vapor. So what is the use of that water vapor? It is the source of rain and snow. Next, we have to discuss the properties of air. The first one is air has no color or smell. Air has no color or smell. As we are not able to see air, that means we cannot detect the color, and smell is not there in air. Air is all around us, yet we can neither see it nor smell it. It means that air neither has color nor smell. So you have to learn this first sentence, that means this bold letter sentence. Next we have air occupies space. To understand this statement, you have to perform a simple experiment with balloon, water, and length of string. Method and the procedures has been given. Try to perform this practical this experiment, and it will help you to understand one of the properties of air, that is air occupies space. Afterwards I will perform these experiments in the class. Don't worry for that. All the experiments which are possible from our end to do it in the class, definitely we will perform it, and with the guidance of your parents try to do, because it is simple. You have balloon, water, and strings at your home. These are the common items which are available in our home. Next we have to read that air has mass. The third property of air is that it has mass. Again, you have to go through a simple experiment to understand that air has mass. I would like to suggest you that as you will go through the above given experiment, so that you can go through the next experiment which has been given to understand that air has mass. You have to have this a big ruler, two pieces of string of equal lengths, two balloons, and a pin. And the procedure, the method has been shared with you, how the things you have to perform. Try to go through the above given experiment. So from that above activity, what we can understand, the blown up balloon has air inside it. On the other hand, the burst balloon has no air inside it. So excess mass of the blown up balloon can only be because of the air inside it. This shows that air has mass. And the last point which we have with us is that air expands on heating. What happens to air when we heat? It gets expanded. So again, you have a simple activity which will definitely help you to understand that air expands on heating. So what we can conclude from this activity, that the balloon out in the sun receives the heat of the sun. As you can see, a red balloon which is outside the window, that means it is receiving the heat of the sun. The surface of the balloon becomes warm, which in turns heat the air inside the balloon. This causes the air to expand. As air expands, it causes the balloon to grow bigger. This shows that air expands on heating. So you have 4 properties of air. Try to learn these 4 properties. The first one is air has no color or smell. Next, air occupies space. Then air has mass, and at last air expands on heating. So today we have discussed the components of air and the properties of air. So again, in our next video I will come with air and breathing. So that's all for today. Thank you.